What is up, guys? In this video we're going to be talking about the HAVIT mouse that I purchased as a part of a set with mechanical keyboard from Amazon, and I was talking about it in the previous video, so in case you missed that you can go ahead and watch that video. I'm going to leave a link somewhere around here. And the price for the keyboard is fluctuates, but usually around $40, and I'm going to leave a link down in the description below so you can go ahead and check it out for yourself. And without further ado, let's get started with this video. First, let's talk about the design of the mouse. The model number is MS733, and overall it's a bigger size mouse. For comparison, I'm going to put it right next to Logitech M310 and Logitech M185, and as you can see, there is a significant difference in width and significant difference in length. It also has a different feel when you grip it. While the Logitech mice are more rounded, the HAVIT mouse has a more flat and stretched out curvature to it. It would definitely feel better if you have a bigger size hand, and it would definitely take you some time to get used to it, especially if you're switching from something like Logitech M310 or Logitech M185. And for me personally, I like the HAVIT mouse feel better because my hand curves it perfectly, while in case of Logitech M310 or M185, I have my fingers kind of rounded when I click the buttons, and it puts extra strain to it. MS733 is an RGB mouse, and it has an RGB strip going around, as well as RGB logo and RGB wheel. The left and right buttons are pointy, which makes it feel like gaming, and I personally like that. Apart from the wheel on top, there are two additional buttons, one for the DPI switch mode and the other one's for RGB mode. On the side, there are two buttons that are programmable, and I personally use to go back and forward while I browse, because for me it's much easier to make one click of a button to go back instead of moving the mouse to the top left corner and then making a click. And in fact, all the buttons are programmable with this mouse, and I'm going to show you that later in the video when we're going to review the software, so stay tuned for that. The sides of the mouse as well as the mouse wheel have a textured surface to improve the grip, and in case of the mouse wheel, it's actually softer rubber. The sides are made from the same kind of plastic that the rest of the mouse, and they don't feel too bad, don't feel too harsh, but I gotta admit that the Logitech's M310's rubber sides feel much nicer in your hand. The length of the cable is about 5 feet, which should be enough if you have your computer next to it. Now that we looked at the design of the mouse, let me take you to my computer. I'm going to show you the software that it comes with and different ways you can program the mouse to fit your needs. First of all, to download the software, you're going to go to havit.hk/downloads, and you're going to look for the model MS733, and this is the HV-MS733 gaming mouse, applicable to HV-MS733 gaming mouse, the mouse of HV-KB389L gaming keyboard. This is the one that you're going to find, and you're going to click download. When you download it, it's going to be a simple executable file, and you don't need to install it. You can place it anywhere. Like in my case, I placed it on the desktop. So in order for you to start it, you're just going to do double click, and it's going to start the software. So you don't have to install it. First thing to mention is that this software, just like the keyboard software, is not the most user-friendly, and it also has some bugs. So the first thing I don't like about this software is that there is, as you can see, there is 7 tabs, and 4 of these tabs are actually different settings for this mouse, while the other 3 is the language settings. And it's a little bit weird. Like, I would probably prefer having the language settings like in a drop down or maybe radio buttons or something, but definitely not look the same as the settings tabs. The other thing is, and please pay attention to the key assignments here, is if I, let's say, switch the language. Well, first of all, switching the language is not working properly. As you can see, there's a bunch of question marks. And then when I switch back to English, as you can see, this key assignments got messed up. So now instead of the left button and right button, it says new macro and back, which wasn't the case before. So in order for you to get back to how it was, and which is not, and this is actually not the correct assignments, you're gonna have to close it again and restart the software. Okay, now let's take a look at the first tab. The first tab is key mode. So what you can do is here you can see we have 7 keys. And I already mentioned earlier in the video that this mouse is programmable, so you can assign any type of action to any button. So let's say I want to assign, instead of the left key, I can assign something else. So if I do left mouse click, it's going to have all these options. The first option is standard mouse key, so the left key, right key, middle, back, forward. Then you have special key, which is DPI key, where you can assign a DPI loop to loop through the DPI modes, or you can do just the DPI up and down to go up or down the list for different DPI levels. Then we have the fire key, which is for gaming. If you want to do rapid fire with one press of a button, then you can assign that too. Aim key, which drops your DPI, so if you're playing games and you need to drop the DPI, let's say when you're sniping, you want the physical mouse movement to cover less pixels on the screen. In that case, you can use this aim button, and it's going to drop the DPI, and it's going to be easier to aim because your physical mouse movement is going to cover less pixels. Then we have LED switch key, which basically lets you switch between different LED modes, which is the one right here. And then we have LED switch, and this LED switch is a button that would just turn on and off the LED or RGB. KB switch key, honestly, I was trying to look it up, but I couldn't figure out what it does. So if you guys know, you can drop down a comment. Key off is basically making this key not usable, so you don't have any key assignments, and when you press, nothing's gonna happen. Then we have media functions that you can assign, like play, pause, volume up and down, mute, previous track or next track. Then we have the browsing buttons for home search, going back the website or forward, stop, refresh, and favorite. There we can assign going to my computer, calculator, or go to the desktop. We have user defined, which you can assign, like let's say you can assign a simple copy paste with this, like let's say Control C and Control V to any type of button, and then we can assign a base macro. In this case, I have demo, and I'm going to show you how to create your own macro later in this video. So next we're going to move to Advanced tab. As you can see, if you have your fire key set up to a certain button, you can set up your fire settings right here. So you can set up how many times you want the key to fire, how many times you want the fire to happen with one press of a key. So you can assign value from 2 to 127, and then you can assign fire an interval with milliseconds. And the other thing for gaming is you can adjust actually moving speed. You can have enhanced pointer precision, which basically is a adjustable way for the mouse to adjust the DPI based on how fast or slow you're moving the mouse. You can adjust the double click speed, and you can adjust the rolling speed for the wheel, how fast or slow it's going to scroll through the pages. Let's say if you're browsing in the web browser and you have to scroll, or a PDF or any other document, how fast it's going to scroll, or you can check this checkbox and it's going to scroll one screen at a time. Next we have DPI settings, and this DPI settings, there are 6 levels of DPI settings, and basically you can assign any DPI level to any setting. But the only problem with this one is that it does not let you assign a specific number. Like let's say if you want to assign 450 or 550, you cannot do that. You can only drag this little thing, and it's gonna go from 500 to 800 to 1000, 1200, 16, and then 2000, 3200, 4000, 4800, and 6400. And that's how you can go. So you cannot assign a specific value if you wanted to. You can also assign a specific color to the RGB in case you have DPI mode on. When you have DPI mode on, your RGB is going to light up to the color that you have assigned to that DPI. Like in this case, the color for 500 is going to be green, and if I hit apply and I have a check mark, if I'm going to go ahead to the next tab and I'm going to change the RGB mode to be corresponding with DPI, you're going to see that it's going to have the green RGB right now. As you can see, it has green RGB right now. So if I switch to, let's say, this DPI level, which is 1600, and I'm going to hit apply, now we're going to see the RGB changing to purple. And you can do it through the software right here, or you can also do it with the DPI button. So if I'm going to switch the DPI level with this button, as you can see, it automatically switches the RGB to the next level is blue, as you can see on the screen. And the next level of 3200 DPI is red, and so on. And you can look through the DPI levels like this, and it's going to change the RGB automatically if you have your RGB set to the DPI mode. Next, the RGB settings. So basically it has LED status, which is open or close. It's a little bit confusing, but it means that right now RGB is on, and if you hit close and apply, it's gonna turn off all the RGBs. LED switch mode plus DPI. So basically this means, to me, it means like if I'm gonna hit disable, it won't let me change my RGB according to the DPI level. But apparently it doesn't work. So I tried disabling and enabling. I couldn't figure out what it does, but to me that's what it was supposed to do. But again, if you guys know, you can also drop a comment down below. But for me, this thing honestly does nothing. So it's a little bit confusing. The next one, LED mode settings. So again, we have DPI mode, colorful light, rainbow, flea light, waltz, 4-season, and off. So let's say if I want to choose rainbow and I hit apply, you can see that the mouse is now changed to the rainbow mode. And you can also loop through these colors with this button that we have set up, or here you can completely turn off the RGB. And then we have the light speed. So right now it's set up to fast, or you can set up to slow. There are 7 levels how fast the RGB is gonna be going. Next thing is macro. As you can see, I already have one demo macro, but what you can do, you can create your own macro. If you hit new macro and you say, let's say demo 2, I'm gonna click OK, and I can actually record. So let's say hit record and I do left click, right click. As you can see, it's making the recordings, and we have the following options. We have record delay, which is basically a physical delay. So as you can see, I was pressing the keys, it was recording my actual physical delay between the clicks. Or you can set up the set delay for, let's say in this case it's 50 milliseconds, or you can have no delay at all if you want to. And you can also set it up to stop the macro until you release the key. So if you're gonna hold the key, it's gonna just loop through the macro, or you're gonna have it as soon as the macro run once, it's gonna be done. And later on, when you go to key mode and you click right here and you have a base macro, as you can see, the demo 2 is already in the macro list. So you can assign that macro to any key. And yeah, and the rest 3 tabs, as I mentioned earlier, are for switching the languages, and it has some bugs. And yeah, that's about it. So as you can see, you can adjust this mouse multiple ways. You can change the RGB modes, you can assign keys any way you want, and you can even create your own macros. So I would say this is a pretty customizable mouse, but the software is a little bit buggy and not very user-friendly. And having said that, let's get back to the video. Now, before we finish, one more thing I wanted to mention is, if you're looking to use this mouse for gaming, you cannot hold the left click and press the side buttons at the same time. So it's not going to be useful in this case, which is a little bit sad considering how this is positioned as a gaming mouse. And that was it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know what you think about the mouse down in the comments below. I'm also gonna leave the link to the combo so you can check out the current price. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you want to see more tech reviews, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.